again, we had a shot at Parsons, and that car didn't look like he was running all that well. Once again, Tony Stewart in the cockpit, normally occupied by Paige Jones, who's racing out in California in the rear engine competition.
Look at this.
We have a car over the wall in the entrance to turn 4. A car over the wall. It appears to be Bob Cicconi. Bob Cicconi in a wicked ride over the wall.
It is.
From Prospect Park, Pennsylvania, you can see to the cockpit, the cage of that reader chassis is intact. Bob is moving around. He has had a couple of wicked rides here on ESPN. One last season at Winchester. He's okay. The crew is there almost immediately, but he's already had a chance to assess and probably say, hey, I'm okay, guys.
Yeah, he's moving around. I think he's all right, but obviously a little shaken up. You don't go out of a place like this going the speed you're going here without taking a few bumps and bruises along with you. So he's trying to gather himself back together, and he's going to sit there and think about it for a second, nod his head, say, yeah, he's okay, I'm okay. Just let me sit here and get my breath, and then we'll get out of here.
Collect my thoughts and get the cobwebs off the head.
That's exactly what it does. I mean, it rings your bell pretty hard. You get out of a place going that fast, why it shakes you up, and he's, he just wants to get himself gathered up. He's shaking his head that he's okay, but he says, I'm not going to jump out of here and fall down on my nose.
Look at the damage. He didn't go over the wall.
I think that appears to be. It's right at the end.
Right at the end of the catch fence. That's where he caught the end of the catch fence and the cable system. So let's take a look again, Larry. Now watch for the red number 59 be off to the right of your screen. No, actually off to the left of the screen.
Oh, he went into the thing, got up on the fence. Look like he was just barely going to go, and then he caught the wall.
He caught the catch fence right there and went over. Obviously, there was no contact. Something apparently broke, and he pushed right to the fence. Watch again.
The throttle stuck. The throttle stuck on the thing and took him right to the fence. Nobody touched him. The throttle stuck on that thing. The left front brake was locked up, and he just couldn't turn it. It's happened so quick, so instantaneously. When that throttle sticks, you cannot turn it and hit the kill switch. There's his father right there.
That's Lou Cicconi. He is now apparently being made aware that his son is okay, but once again, as a father, your son is racing. It's a terrible situation to be a father and watch your son involved in an accident like that. Here is a look again from the car of Tony Stewart. There he's up against the wall, on top of the wall. Now watch him catch that fence.
Boy, thank goodness for cages. That really saved Bob Cicconi right there. The fence also helped slow him down and stop him as he got into that catch fence and went over there. He had on some good equipment, we're sure. There's the Simpson guy walking down there. So look at what it did to that pole, though. That thing was sliding along the fence, and he hit that pole, and those are pretty stout poles. Those are 4-inch steel poles, and he bent one of them over like a pretzel, and the other one's bent over to 45 degrees. Dave, are you down there?
They are asking us to stay clear of the accident scene down here, but we do have a first-hand report from the safety crews, and they tell us that Bob thinks, and this is not the medical assessment yet, this is Bob's own assessment, that he may have broken his arm. So obviously they're going to check that very carefully, and they are not as yet trying to get him out of the cockpit. They do have the backboard there, but Bob is alert, he is conscious, and appears to be generally well. Again, according to the first-hand account, Bob thinks that he may have broken his arm. Obviously, it's hurting him pretty badly, so it'll take him a few minutes to get him out of the car. You've pretty well documented, I think, the carnage up here in terms of that catch fence. Regardless of outcome, he is a lucky, lucky race driver.
Look at that pretzel. Look at that pole that's bent over just like a pretzel. And like I said, those are 4-inch steel poles. Look, he's knocked one clear down. Very, very great force to knock those things. Look, it's embedded in cement. Even pulled the cement out. That's how hard he hit it. So you know he had to be going fast.
Well, once again, we'll have a chance to take a look at this again, and we talk about the structure of these race cars. Now watch the lower left. There it is.
It just stuck. The throttle was stuck. The left front wheel was smoking. He was trying to get the thing stopped and turned. It caught the fence right there, and really that fence kept him from going out there and doing a lot more than he did, because it absorbed that shock when he went up there. Look at the mark where that thing hit with the right front corner.
I think you were driving, Larry, when they first came out with the roll cage back in the late 60s. A lot of drivers said, hey, this is going to make brave guys out of some drivers that aren't that good. A lot of guys are walking around today because they had a roll cage around them when they crashed. Our buddy Gary Bettenhausen has been upside down so many times, and he'll tell you without that cage he wouldn't be here.
Look at there's the Nerf bar hung up in the cables. you know, the fencing, everything did its job, including the safety equipment on the car and on the racetrack. All of it worked together, and luckily, I think Bob's not hurt nearly as bad as he might have been.
That's that Reeder chassis. He's utilizing the Agurti power plant, but once again, every piece of safety equipment on the driver, the car, and here at the track did what it was designed to do as we take a look at the running after only 2 of 30 laps from Indianapolis Raceway Park. The Copenhagen Skull USAC Midgets from Indianapolis Raceway Park and Larry Rice, we remain under a red flag situation. We'll take a look now at the in-car camera shot that we have of this crash, and your assessment, of course, was, now watch to the upper left-hand corner. Watch Bob Cicconi move to the inside right here.
Right there. He knows that he's got the throttle stuck. He's heading for the bottom of the racetrack, way down there, trying to get the thing. He's pulling up on the throttle. He's trying to do everything. He's on the brakes at this point, and he just goes straight. Once you get on the brakes, turn the wheels, the thing just goes straight into the fence. But he knew way back up the racetrack that the throttle was stuck. He just couldn't get anything. He couldn't reach the kill switch. He couldn't do everything in time to stop that terrible accident. And it happened so fast. I mean, it looks like a long time there in slow motion, but in regular time, that thing happened in a split second. And all he really wanted to do was get on the brakes and get it turned, and it didn't miss the fence. Dave, you got a comment?
Just a quick update on the situation here. As I'm sure you can see, they are repairing the catch fence, and that will essentially be a pretty simple repair. I don't think we'll have an extended delay for that, because he took out the last section, as I'm sure you noted in the replays, of the fence. It's a matter of straightening up one pole here, and we should be in good shape. As for Bob himself, I think perhaps the best read on the situation came a moment ago when I spoke with his dad, Lou, who is now occupied with the process. They are getting Bob out of the car, but Lou said he's doing fine. He's complaining of a little pain in his arm. He is very vocal, and I said, well, what is he saying? He said, well, he thinks that the throttle's stuck, so he has confirmed from the cockpit what you guys saw from down here. But the telling remark was when he walked over to the track operator, Lex Dudas, with a smile on his face and said, you're not going to make us pay for this fence, are you? So I think the point is that things are in good shape down here.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, those Cicconis always got a comment, don't they? You know, it's very interesting. I was just in Bobby's shop this week having a look around, and he's got a throttle pedal in there that has a kill switch built into the top of it. We're going to do a feature on that and some other safety things on next week's shows. We'll definitely be sure and show that now.
So you're saying that if a driver were to pick up the throttle, the top of the toe would actually kill the engine. Exactly. Let's take a look. We've taken a look in slow motion, but let's see how quickly this develops in real time, real speed.
Now he realizes right there, 1, 2, 3 seconds he's in the fence, and he doesn't have time to do anything. You know, it can't have been 3 seconds probably, more like 2 or 2 and a fraction seconds from the time he realized what was going on, and everybody knew. Everybody was heading for the fence already. Boy, I'll tell you.
Can you believe it? Can you believe Bob Cicconi wants to talk to us, Dave?
They've covered up his hairdo. You look like you're doing pretty well down here, all things considered.
All kidding aside, the throttle stuck, and I couldn't get over to shut the on-off switch in time, and I did everything else, but maybe you're going those kind of speeds, it was gone. But I owe my survival to Galata Hair Products. Look, nothing's out of place.
All the medical people are trying to get you out of here, and you're down here being a ham for ESPN. We appreciate that.
No, Bobby Joe Galata from Kansas City, he would get mad if I never mentioned him. I forgot to mention him last week, and I think he put the Maloics on me, and that's what happened. The next time, I don't know what would happen.
All right, now they're telling me, get this guy out of here. I got to let him go to the ambulance. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate the interview. I'll tell you what, you talk about a man who is cool under pressure. That is Bob Cicconi. He has basically stared that big moment in the eye, one of our longtime stars and friends here on Saturday Night Thunder, and managed to come through it, as you noticed, with a possible arm injury. They've got his arm pretty well bandaged up. They're going to take him in and x-ray that, but most significantly, I think, his body and certainly his sense of humor are intact. Bob Cicconi remains one of our favorite heroes here on Saturday Night Thunder. We'll be back to try to get this thing restarted right after this timeout.
This is Indy, folks. Anything can happen. Certainly would like to thank all the people that did come over here.
From Raceway Park through the damaged fence, you can see a damaged race car, but look what's intact. Larry Rice, the cage, the seat supports, everything did their job.
That's exactly right. I tell you, we just can't thank the car manufacturers and the safety equipment manufacturers enough. For the people that run these race cars, they do them a lot of favors, and you know, sometimes we get a little mad at them, but you know, they really do their job.